Hello, viewers. I know most of you are probably more into the classics than you are geometry, so I bring you Homer. And as though it was drawn by Groening himself, the mouth area is actually supposed to be a circle. I almost drew you a Groening uh, uh, Homer. I thought that might be a bit counterproductive. Obviously, it's a little bit blurred. That's why I put the smaller one on because it looks a bit better at that level. I need a much higher resolution, obviously, at this stage. Now, to get that printed in super high res at the British Library would cost me a monkey, uh, about 500 quid, £500 sterling. Unfortunately, the British Library don't possess this. They've got the John Wright version, but the British Museum and the Bodleian have both got copies of this original. So I haven't approached them yet, but I'll have to decide whether or not my own curiosity will fund that. We'll discuss that later. So as you can see, this line here, this dot was noted by Jay as being a little bit too high, and then it turns out that it's perfectly cut by the Great Triangle, but then, yeah, it is a bust, I believe, of Poet Ape. Right, next up, this again, well, this was discovered yesterday by Mr. Hall Carpenter, and while we're still arguing about where the bottom of that square is, the geometric, these are the squares, obviously, the geometric appeal of that is extremely strong to me. The only issue here is how long are the bars, the horizontals of the T's, and that's actually what Jay had noticed as well. It's that we may have a use for this R point, and it turns out that that's actually exactly 15 degrees. It's still, okay, 15 degrees is half of 30. I can make 60 degrees and 45 degrees appear trivially, but by just putting either the Great Triangle on here or the companion line to that, that will intersect that at 60. The Great Triangle will intersect this at 45. So I might be able to make squares or triangles that make something pretty happen to give further visual validation of that. That 15 degrees is a bit iffy, but it's at least I've got some geometric rationale for this on top of the fact that it fits in with this with the two squares, etc., and the larger square. So that makes it really good. And of course this point here, which I call the OR point, is I believe to be sacred. Whether or not there's anything else coming from there, we'll have to see. I still have not really made a proper attempt at trying to find my monad. So that's good, isn't it? Triple tau. Now next is that this point here, the bauble we call it because it looks like it's fallen off a Christmas tree, is exactly 23 degrees up to this point. Now that point there I'm defining in my computer as the reflection of this point. So we're a little bit high as a result because that point there, the height of that is defined by the height of the pentagrams, of the great pentagram. And so if you reflect that about there, it will do that. So 23, what does 23 mean? I mean, I'll take anything between 23 up to but not including 24 as an astronomical observation. But other than that, 23 is a prime number, so I have no idea what that might mean, or even if it's real. The Tau Cross and indeed Homer, I'm prepared to argue with. This one, I don't know. And indeed, the line that it's supposed to be a horizontal line from here, um, and I've got a vertical line from here that would cut it and make a right angle triangle. But so what? So there. Right. So next, I was concerned about my claim that the E here in and are was filled in, and that was unnatural. That's actually a larger font size than Neue before, and all these ones have got eyes. Now, I thought I might have a fish here because it looks a bit like fish, and maybe that's a bit sharky, but maybe that's a fish, but that would have to be a fish finger. So I don't think we've got fish. Also, all the examples of the fish where the seem to be drawn in the other direction. I mean, there's seen a stone with two fishes, but in general, if you're just putting the sign of the fish, it seems to have its tail on the right. So I don't think we've got fishes, but we have got a slice of pizza in here. Why is that like that? It looks, again, at normal size, it looks really quite blatant. Why have we made a strange eye like that on the E? And why have we got a fish finger in that one? I don't know. I was just looking at these. And are to be foldy. All those three don't have eyes. I don't know if that's the Loch Ness monster or what, but it's a pretty crappy, isn't it? That one's filled in, but okay, it's small. But that one is bigger than the ones before, and yet it's got its eye filled in, which I consider to be suspicious. There's three of those. Right, London. I don't know about that. I can't find evidence of a circle on there, so I don't know why that L is like that. But this one here, I should have put that one on. This leg should be the mirror of that, and it's not. So that's something. I don't know if it's of any geometric value or whether or not that's highlighting the fact that it's got some lexical cryptography to do with it. But that's in terms of my stock check on here. So now we've got three lowercase i's in this, the two in William and the I, and the lowercase I in imprinted. We've met Homer, and that one, that might be a rectangle with a line through it, or maybe even a spear. No, we need it zooming in. Don't know what's wrong with that, but there are three I's, three lowercase i's, and at least two of them have got strangeness associated with them. Right, Aspley. I've heard War talk about this, and he's clearly looked at it in this kind of resolution. Is there even a letter here at all? Is it broken? It looks broken. So does that make it a J, an I, or something, or what have you? No clue. Although the angle of this is interesting, the slope of this italic font, because this A is evocative of the alleged A from upstairs. And if we go up to the artwork, I'll just plonk that roughly on there. But yeah, this. So the way I think that this has been built is that this is a normal A as part of this font, but this font does have, this typeface does have an angle to it that may be relevant. I'm hoping to work out what the geometry of that A is. The cryptography, the typographer's geometry for that, because that may help me unlock other points within this artwork. But I think that's been chopped off and then this swoop has been added such that it will fit there. And I haven't done that particularly accurately, but it's in terms of is it supposed to be roughly there? Well, yeah. Um, yeah, that's not meant to say art. That's an accident, but I think there is an art here. That's got a little descending thing on it. It may be just to highlight the serif that we don't quite properly cut, but we're near enough. I don't know. That's this dot at the bottom of the R, so which I'll show in a moment. And then yeah, this is the T in sonnets, and we've got an irregular behaviour with the serif at the bottom, and indeed the serif at the top, which is cut by both the great pentagram and the diagonal of the small square, is a bit funny. So again, I don't know what that means other than highlighting the T for use as a sign for a tau cross, which I've insisted on putting on, but that's part of it. So yeah, what I was really doing to start off with was just counting up these suspicious dots, which that's just a kind of a map of them. I'm not sure about this one here. That may be just some kind of blemish. I'm quite sure about that one though. That and it does not as yet play any role, but that is of a similar standard to this dot and also this dot. So I consider that to be more than suspicious. And let's just go back up. I should have had the S's. Yeah, here we go at this. We've got 3 of these internal freckles, these inverted freckles, only 3 within, and they're all within Shakespeare's, and they're all in very regular positions. This one is at where the that's the vertical line through here would go if that S was in the right position. Oh, you're fudging things. Well, the S isn't in the right position, but the geometry is, hard luck. We've got one at the bottom of the R, which is directly beneath where the AR line is terminated. And then we've got one right in the middle of the S, which is further corroboration of this mid strike through. So that's what those are. We're suspicious. Well, I'm actually using these the pistils of these flowers to determine what the length of this square actually is. So, surprise, surprise, this thing is definitely built from the top down. I could have included the dots on the rabbits. I've included the dot on the fish just on here because the eyes of the other 2 fish are broken, but the eye on that fish is a dot. It may be just to accentuate the center line, but the Y position of that may be of value. I'm absolutely certain that these 2 roundels are supposed to, for eyes, my RAF roundels, the archery targets that are on these monsters, whatever the heck they are relevant, but I've no idea how. But yeah, I need this in higher res, and I need to work out how we're going to do that. I will start to make some contact with the British Museum. So the British Museum and the Bodleian both have copies, and I want them to start photographing this in bits in high res. We don't need it gluing together. We've got a glued together version. We just need real close-ups now, particularly of Homer, but also of my pyramid full stops. But really, this entire thing now is worthy of some serious close-up. And I'd just like to know whether or not either the Oxford Foundation, the Shakespeare Oxford Foundation, and or the De Vere Society are in any way interested in that. Okay, more news as we get it.